Enjoy upcoming events from the Johnson County Library, and the Johnson County Public Library is hosting historic walking tours. Those interested can contact the library to be put on a waiting list and will be notified when there are enough participants to schedule a tour. For more information or to register for these events, contact the Johnson County Public Library at 606-789-4355.
This has gone back to when my daughter was in middle school.
What year was that, so we know? How many years ago has it been?
5, 6, something like that.
So it's not something recent?
No.
Okay.
This one is.
Okay.
Missing money from the 401c.
Money that was raised for the cheerleaders was misappropriated by the coach.
Cheerleading coach?
Yep. Now, as far as whether or not this was actually dealt with, it was brought to their attention numerous times. We did have a meeting once, which turned into a boo-hoo session, and that's the last I heard of it. I don't know if it ever got resolved. You all do with it what you will.
Okay.
There is some missing soccer money, and that was from when the girls went to the Sweet 16,
Okay, what year was that?
2017.
Was it before that? That's before.
Who has the reconciliations and accounting of this money? You have an audit trail or something to find it.
Hey, that's what I'm telling you all. I've been told by numerous people that this is missing.
Okay.
I was shown where we had this money and then it was taken out of account that, to my knowledge, we raised it, it was ours. Evidently, other people didn't see it that way. We just wanted to make sure.
Was the money turned into the school, or was there a boosters club? I mean, how, you don't have.
See, we never set up a boosters. I mean, the same thing with Coy Salmons. You know, he told us that we had to turn in all the uniforms that year when we had paid for all the uniforms.
Okay.
And he said, no, that's not how it works. And I brought him an empty box. I said, there's the ones you paid for.
Yeah.
So it could have been going to a different activity fund. Could have just
You
been.
could do inter-account transfers.
Yeah.
Uh,
But he's saying that was out there knowledge that we did enter
Yeah.
the transfer.
Yeah, shouldn't that be something that we would know about? If we,
Site-based, you can come to site-based meetings to see that.
oh, I'm gonna be coming to a lot of stuff now.
They could be earmarked for that too.
Yeah, well, even if it's earmarked, like, all these accounts are set up individually, but they're also collective. You can't have one account end up in a red. One of the things we also have is we have a lot of outside boosters clubs. For instance, you'll look at the basic for the football one in particular. You'll say that it has no money in it. Well, they do all their fundraising through their boosters.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Oh, yeah.
So you've got those issues going on. But what we can do is we can go back. Was Lynn doing that at that time? So it's Lynn back in. We can go back and look and see. There should be, whenever there's a donation turned in, there has to be a receipt to the person that's given the donation. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Was it donations? I'm
Or
sorry.
was it a fundraiser?
Was it a fundraiser?
What the money we had?
Well, which one are we talking about, cheerleading or soccer first?
No, this is soccer. The cheerleading is,
Okay.
I don't expect to ever hear anything of that.
That'd be hard to find anything. Like 2017, we might be able to find something.
Yeah, that's possible. Now, a fundraiser, what Robin's getting at is each coach is supposed to do a fundraiser. Now, I will tell you that we've done some massive cleanup on that since I've been here. I can't tell you exactly what happened there because it's before I got here, but I can tell you that we'll look into it, and you're more welcome to come in and sit down with me. We'll go through it. I know Miss Austin will do whatever she can to help you.
I know I saw some numbers, which I don't know how complete it was, which to me, it's like reading Egyptian anyway.
Yeah, and
But
it is.
there were a lot of things that, surely to God, they can't be that far off.
Yeah.
Which, like I said, I'm an idiot when it comes to math, but we do have consistent audits, I would assume.
Every year, and the high school has to go through an audit every single year. That doesn't mean that things don't get missed, but our audits have always come back pretty good, pretty clean. You guys have been here for 20 years. You can speak more to that than I can. The law requires that every board of education and every high school activity account goes through an audit. That's an annual thing. So we're actually, our activity account, lady, Ms. Lynn Baldwin, was actually getting stuff prepared for this year's coming on. So that's something we can go back and look at.
So, Steve, they do have some financial information that saying, hey, we put this money in there, you have a deposit or a receipt or something, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what we need to do is have those, before they can start, they need those receipts, see before they was placed in that account, and see what went out of that account. I assume it's kind of like a general ledger, and she should have activity the last 3 or 4 years.
If it was turned
Yeah,
out.
okay. And she should have credits and debits, and you know, if you have one, say for $550, she should have $550. Then she has to account for what went out on the other side. And you know, if $275, what was it for? So,
And I'll tell you another thing, Steve, that we're doing right now, at Ms. Austin's request, and I've taken it a step further. We're going through a complete audit of our SVDM policies and procedures, district-wide.
Oh, good.
Yes, so.
Because that's a whole lot about what I was getting ready to go on.
Without saying too much, let's just say we've got a mix.
We use the
So-
word antiquated.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, we'll use that word.
I came up with much better adjectives. Piss poor would be right at the top of mine. Oh, wait,
So
that's the
we're-
public record, right?
We're going, that's a district-wide, at the district office, and both schools are going to go through that. So we've got some issues we have to clean up.
How about like the conduct?
The student code of conduct is.
Not just students,
Well,
everybody.
everybody. You're 100% right. We happen to have our new DPP here tonight, Ms. Janie Ward. The law changed, I believe, Steve, don't hold me to this, around 2009, where each district has to do a student code of conduct biannually with a set of elections to elect students, parents, things of that nature. To my knowledge, I don't think we've ever done that. So that's something that we will be doing. I did it as a DPP in my previous job, so that's something I'm very familiar with. There's a lot of things that we have not done annually that's required by statute. It's not board policies. It's statute that's set down by the state of Kentucky that we haven't been able to, I can't find it, number one. Number two, I don't think we've done. So those are the types of things, when you say that you're feeling angst about some of this stuff, I can promise you it's kept me up at night. So we're trying to clean it up, and the site-based policies is something that desperately has to be addressed.
Well, you just touched on something which they should be able to agree with me. The guys that have been here for 20 years. It's changed a bit, hasn't it? From what we used to be,
Absolutely.
and I don't mean in a good way.
No.
You see, when we were in school, I have no problem with people coming from Floyd County. I don't want anybody to even think that. Because when I was in school, we had them coming from everywhere because of academics. Now they're coming here. It appears the motives may be whatever they may be. But the academics, something's not meshing.
Yeah.
Something does not seem right. You know, I brought up the code of conduct, and I'm not picking on any one person, I'm not picking on, but stuff that would have gotten us suspended for the rest of the year. Did it not chime in with anybody?
Ms. Austin, you want to talk about any of this? You're
Well-
the new leader down there.
We have actually, I had meetings with every single one of our teachers except for one because she was on vacation, and she and I are scheduled for a meeting next week to discuss my expectations for the teachers and then what I expect for the students. Because as a graduate here, I know what standard we were held to as far as
Well, that's
our-
my biggest thing. My kids are third generation Tigers, and I know some people, say, oh, go big. We actually believe that shit.
Yep.
We grew up eating that, we still do.
Yep.
And
We've lost sight of it.
I don't get how we're losing people who were brought up in the system are leaving us. And that I don't get.
One of the
That should
things-
never be happening.
One of the things too that we're looking at is, our attendance. Kids can't get the quality education if they're not in school. Our attendance dropped a full percentage point this year, and that's, our new DPP's got to work that out for us. We've got things that we have to fix, and it's been a process. I will say this, I think one of the things, I talk to each one of these board members very regularly, they're only aware of the stuff that they get told from the superintendent.
And that was gonna be one of the, I know, and I didn't wanna, sound like some ass up here, I'm trying to single anybody out,
I can assure
because you
you,
can't talk to everybody, and I know you all got jobs, and you're only gonna know what you're told. And
is there anything?
I know
guys-
from the past, the pipeline of information fell off into infinity somewhere around the corner of the church, because this hand didn't know what this one was doing. And I'm starting to wonder if that was the same case. Now, I know this is,
tell you that right now, from my perspective, and I don't speak for each of you, I think their information load has been a little bit overwhelming. I think they realize that there's things that they didn't know was going on that we were trying to fix. I'll give you an example. Let me show you what happened. The board is responsible for these. This is board policies, okay? That's what these 5 guys vote and approve. They have to go through 2 readings to change the policy, okay? They've done their job. And Robin, you're gonna back me up on this, because the first question I asked when I got here, I said, I know where the policies are, where's the procedures? Robin looked at me, she said, we don't have any procedures. I said, what do you mean don't have any procedures? I said, they're called the green sheets. She said, we don't have those. Well, I went on vacation, I was here 5, 6 days, went on vacation. Well, I worked on vacation. My wife can attest to that, I did it all last week. So I called KSBA, who does our policy work for us. You know the lady well, she's from Morgan County, it's Kim Barker, she's a wonderful lady. I said, Kim, our policies and procedures, where are they? She said, well, you've got a digital copy, but they're not online. I said, why aren't they online? She said, well, the previous administrator didn't want them online. That's fine. I said, well, I want them online. I want everybody to be able to see them. You can now go on our website and find our policies and procedures. The second thing, she sent me the link. I get on there, I found the policies. Couldn't find procedures. So I emailed her back. I said, Kim, I've got the procedures, or the policy, but don't have procedures. She said, Dave, you're one of 10 districts out of 173 school systems that don't have procedures. I said, well, Kim, that's the responsibility of the superintendent. She said, yes, you're the one that sets the procedures. So I can tell you that I had a near heart attack on the beach, because that's what governs us. That's what the board says, the policy that we have to develop. I'm responsible for developing procedures to implement these things, okay? So I asked her, I said, Kim, what do we do? She said, well, let's work on it. So I spent the biggest part of my first 7 months here developing procedures. We also didn't have job descriptions. The first job description we did when I got here was for a high school principal or an elementary principal. Ms. Webb can attest to that. So we had a lot of gaps. I can show you that. I think I sent all of you guys a picture when we got them because I was excited. They're called green sheets for a reason. So if the board sets a policy, we have, my job and my admin team is to set procedures in place, okay? So now we have procedures. If we find a policy that doesn't match the procedure, then we can adapt and change this procedure, okay? So Paintsville's been around 125 years. We were one of 10 school systems out of 173 school systems that didn't have these. We were a walking lawsuit.
still might be.
Still might be, very well, very well. But we do have them in place. We also didn't have a PO process. We didn't know what Red Book was.
Well, that explains some of the wild numbers I was
There
saying.
you go. Mr. Schmidt actually has gone through the training. Red Book is what governs the activity accounts. What do we have on, we have on the 8th of August?
Ron Flannery, who is an auditor, that's going to come and he audits districts. He's going to come and train all of our coaches, administrators, everybody over Red Book rules.
So the reason I'm telling you this is, you're right. You're 100% right. We've got issues. I don't want you to sit there and think that we've not been trying to address them. And it's slow. It's a process. And it's painful.
Well, my main concern is conduct.
Yeah.
Not only from the student body,
But from the staff.
but what we expect from,
Yeah.
well, I'm not gonna even single out teachers because it's the coaches. Those are the ones that get the most animated.
Yeah.
And I've personally seen on both sides of it, I don't see how either was back on the field and or court.
Yeah.
How are you going to address that from here on out?
I will tell you that we are working on a student athlete handbook that governs both coaches and
With
our,
what, suspension?
it details even their behavior down to attending practices.
And that, rules out cussing at the players.
Morris has been working on that for a while, we're trying to, you have your handbook that our kids at school go by, and that's our requirements for them, and, I mean, I've talked about it, I go by that. We
So what
want one
about
for the
domestic
students.
violence, dating violence? Do you have something that addresses that? Because if you don't,
I can
You
talk
better.
to,
Yeah, we're
and I
not,
say that with.
well, that's what I'm getting at,
sincerity.
because we're not aware of any of that.
I've not heard of that kind of conduct, but that's something that I meet with Mr. Copley. I met with him today. I'll mention it to him and say maybe that's something we need to add into it. If it happens at school,
It's ours.
It's ours.
Yeah.
If it happens, period, it should be yours.
Well, there's a court designated work rules in there too. There's juvenile protective prosecution that needs to be looked at.
Yeah.
And with that, Miss Ward and I actually had a meeting with the CDW this week just to get to know her and if we need to report students to her, not just attendance, because some people think that's the only thing it's for. She was there for
behavior also, but we have to be
attendance,
made aware.
behavior, and we have to be made aware before we can.
One of the funnier things that happened when I got here, I went to Robin, I said, where do I sign in? Robin said, what do you mean, where do you sign in? I said, there should be a sign-in sheet. I said, every employee in the district has to sign in. We didn't have that process. We now have a digital process where every employee signs in. So we've done a lot of work in 2 years. Change is not something that everyone embraces, but we're not necessarily changing, we're just bringing up.
We need to get back up to where we were.
Exactly. We just need to get up to
Because
what the
we're
laws
not
are.
even remotely there.
I agree.
Now, what about the drug testing and so on and so forth?
We are re-implementing drug testing.
Second reading of the policy tonight.
Yeah. So that's coming back. I've got.
Is that across the board?
Yeah. We hear.
Is there help for employees?
Yep. And we've been working with KSDA. I spent last Monday on my vacation about 3 hours on the phone with KSDA working on this policy. So we hear you, we hear the community. We appreciate that you're here tonight fighting for what Paintsville should stand for, because we believe it. We believe exactly what you're saying.
I don't think so.
I don't think there's any reason why we can't get back to that spot.
We're gonna have to, guys.
We have to start in the classroom, and the classroom is most important. Everybody's got to be teaching bell to bell. Ms. Austin, Ms. Webb have both work diligently with their staff. So it's just it doesn't happen overnight, but it's going to happen.
There's other stuff that I want to talk about, but it can wait for the next one because there's some other stuff that
I appreciate it.
but I just wanted to,
And
I do want to, I will be at everyone from now on.
I wrote
It's always
down
open.
your concerns for the student athlete stuff. Made myself a note so I can talk to our athletic director about it too. Double check that policy as well.
Thank you.
We thank you.
Thank you very
I would
much.
make a comment, just as a board, hopefully speaking for everybody, is we know we've got some gaps, and we're really working on them, and have been working on them. So hopefully we can do that. Do we have any other community members or representatives? Okay, we're back.
Does that count me or not?
Yeah.
Who said
We'll
that?
get you like we did last time. That's okay.
Ms. Webb, is who's first?
Miss Austin.
Ms. Austin?
All right. Some highlights to tell you all about. Our CMPS team that went to Massachusetts, we found out that they placed 4th at internationals, which I'm so proud of those kids. I couldn't get them here due to vacations and Miss McNews going on vacation, but I'd like to, the next board meeting, honor
Absolutely.
at those. And then I'm sure Miss Webb will talk about her FPS as well. I won't speak over her. Dead period ends July 9th, so you'll be starting to see a lot of things happening with our athletics. We should have all their schedules finalized on KHSA soon. I think they're almost there. We have a new hire at the high school. After interviews, with some great interviews and consultation with our site-based council, we hired Mr. Tommy Poe as the new assistant principal. He comes to us from Adams Middle School. So he actually came in today. Today was kind of his first day. I showed him around the building, trying to familiarize him with rooms. Obviously it's easy for us, but you know, someone else coming in there, I was trying to show him where everybody was, the blind spots in the cafeteria, anything that I could possibly think of. I think I may have overwhelmed him because when at one point he was just sitting at his desk like, okay. I think I overfed him with information. Our master schedule has been approved by our site-based council.
Or what?
Master schedule,
What's that?
Bell schedule. It's like what the teacher.
what teachers teach and where they are each period. And I do believe this is probably, from what I've heard from some of the teachers, some of the earliest that they've actually gotten to get their master schedule so that they can start planning. Because as a former teacher, that was always a big deal to me, is I wanted to know, which I was lucky, I know it was Spanish 1, 2, maybe a 3. But for some of these teachers, you know, they may have I know we have a new forensics class coming with Miss Barker. That's pretty exciting. So that way they can start planning ahead. As I mentioned, we held teachers meetings in June, and it was about an hour. I spoke with every single one of our teachers and discussed with them. And I want to go over some of the notes that I went over with them. You can see my handwritten copy. First thing I asked them is what our strengths are of our school, because I believe we have a lot of strengths in our district, and I want to make sure that we don't rest on those. So, you know, the personal touch that they have, the small class sizes that we offer. I can attest to having taught in a district where I had 7 classes of 30. So what we offer is very unique, and our academic reputations that we need to get back to, but that's something Paintsville's known for. So community involvement, keeping us different from the rest. That's the thing, some of the highlights. Then I asked the teachers about their dreams, what they want to see for our school. We had a lot of great ideas. We've talked about an art exhibit for our art students. We've talked about a poetry slam for those students who enjoy literature. A science fair for our students for next year. So those were just some of the ideas that our teachers have come up with just to build and get us out there. We have great things happening in our classroom. Sometimes we don't get to see what they are. And sometimes a student may not perform well on a test, but they can show you what they know, like in a science experiment. So that's a great way for us to get our students out there. I also asked them their expectations for me. You know, being supportive, communicating with them, which I try to do a lot last year. They got a weekly email, so they want the weekly email to keep coming. That way they know what's scheduled for the week, what ball games we have, what meetings we have. And then my final question is, what are our successes that we've celebrated in the past, and what do we need to celebrate? Obviously, we're known for our athletics, and we did a little bit more with our academics this year, honoring our middle school students, and we tried to do some middle school only activities this year. So one of the things we did was we had the students who got distinguished or proficient, and we honored them just in a middle school only assembly. So we're going to try to keep building on those and recognizing the small achievements as well, because we do have some students that may never get to be a proficient, but they've gone up on that testing 5 points, and that's a big deal for that student. So we need to make sure we also honor those small achievements. Some upcoming dates. August 1st, Mr. Baker has set up a mental health training so that we can be sure we're working with our students and identify if they have any mental health needs. August 5th, 6th, and 7th will be when we do schedules. But we're not just doing schedules, we're going to do parent meetings as well. So on the 5th, we're going to meet with all of our 10th grade parents, and I've invited all the teachers to come and share whatever they need to for what a 10th grade student should expect for that next year. The next night, we'll do 8th grade 1 hour, 9th grade the next. Same process. And then on the 7th is our jump start. So we're going to do jump start in the morning and parent meeting that night. We're going to do more than them just paying their fees and getting their lockers. We're going to have, Mr. Schmidt and I've talked about having someone there set up to show parents and students how they can log on to My School Bucks to get their cafeteria fees online, because we've discussed, I love that I can pay my son's bill with credit card. But, you know, I'll get a bill, oh, he's short so much, and I can plug it in. Parents getting on Infinite Campus. A lot of parents don't have, they don't realize that they can have access to an Infinite Campus portal where they can check all their students' grades, attendance, and all that. So we're gonna have that. Dr. McCarty's gonna be there to set accounts up. They can get their schedules, they can get their lockers, they can pay their fees. We can show them around. That way they can see where all their classes are gonna be, especially for our 7th graders. That's always a shock, is they don't know first period I'm here, second period I'm here. So this is a good way for them to get to tour the building and see what classes they're gonna have. And then August 8th is our back to school bash. Ms. Webb and I did a poll between our faculty. We let the faculty vote. They had 2 dates they got to pick, and that was the one. It won like 50, I think it was 53% was the winning. It only won by 4 votes. So it's very split. So August 8th will be our back to school bash. Think I have anything else?
That's enough.
She's been doing a lot of work.
Haven't noticed or not, she is working hard.
Yeah.
We appreciate it. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Ms. Williams, I've lost it.
I'm sorry I didn't get to come to the board meeting in June. I was coming back from Massachusetts from the international FPS competition. Would not have wanted to see me that day. That was a long drive. Very proud of our junior FPS team. We had 4 members of that team. They were 6th graders going to 7th, and they placed 7th in the world in that division in future problem solving. And that was against 70 different teams from around the country and around the world. So for them to place that high, just very proud of them. And it had been a long time since I had escorted and coached a team. And I think they could have done even better if they had a coach that knew what she was doing. I was pretty proud of them. Summer camp, thanks to Ms. Bruner and the Family Resource Center, we had a turnout of around 40 each day at that camp. We had that in the middle of June. Very appreciative of those efforts. Also wanted to let you know that we have been selected as a member of the Kentucky Valley Educational Cooperative. They chose 20 ACT teams this year. Schools could apply for that, and it gives them extra funding for a project, and we were selected as one of the 20 at the elementary school. We have a teacher team. It's Miss Davis, Miss Tackett, and Miss Blankenship, as well as myself, and we're going to focus on a school-wide problem, and we get up to $5,000 to try to work towards a solution to that issue. We were involved in that last year as well, and we used that for writing resources. So we were pleased to be selected again this year. We've also been involved in new site-based member training. We have all of our members selected and in place. We have our teacher representatives this year, Ms. Woods, Ms. Frazier, Ms. Blankenship, and our parent representatives are Ms. Kendra Short and Ms. Deborah Stewart. Very appreciative of our janitors. They really have been busy. They're already finished with the elementary.
You know, they'll be finished with the high school. They're thinking maybe 2 weeks out of school.
That would be wonderful.
Yeah.
Because we still have some maintenance needs that need to be addressed at the elementary, but the cleaning is finished. So very appreciative of those guys. Similar to Miss Austin, the first year that I was principal here, I met with each teacher individually in the summer. I'm now starting year 6, so it's time to revisit that. We've been doing that this week as well, and last week. I'm about halfway finished. Kindergarten universities coming up July the 29th. If you know any prospective kindergartners, please send them our way. We have 67 pre-registered. So we're looking forward to a big kindergarten class this year. That's all I have. Thank you.
Now, is your back to school bash?
Back to school bash is the same night.
We usually do it, I think hers is 5 to 6:30.
Yes.
And mine will be 5:30 to 7. That way parents that have, or teachers that have students at either building can visit before it overlaps.
Dual credit.
Yeah. Now, Stormy the night before, but we can do it this year. Mr. Ratliff's on vacation. Mr. Smith.
Just we're getting ready to close out the year and get ready to audit. I think Daryl's will come at the end of this month or 1st of August and start getting materials ready to go for the
One of the things that Mr. Schmidt and I have been looking at quite a bit, and the board's been very aggressive in our tax rate over the last few years. One of the things that we've noticed is that we've got quite a large delinquency list of people not paying the taxes. Our collection rate, Mr. Porter, was 85% last year.
Then what we have here, I got a little information here. It was, our rate is .935. The city's was .195. That's on all the tax bills, so it's kind of convoluted, us and the city. The city also has, when you sit in the paper, some of that is not in the city school district.
Yeah. Yeah, what people need to understand, the city district is bigger than that school district.
Right, so it's hard to pick out there.
Yeah.
I looked at one person, and I know they're in our school district, and they owed over $8,000. If you put that times 4 at 32,000 last 4 years, because I saw the other three, they've done it the other 3 years. Plus, I know they should be getting 12% interest a year, so that would be another $8,000. That's $40,000 just on that one person. That would be our portion would be 32,000, and the city's portion would be 8,000. We have $280 million in assessed value. At .935, we got it down here. We should get $2,618,000. Last year we've been getting around $2.2 million. So we're losing around $400,000 every year, and we need to take legal action against these people. And we can go jointly with the city. I don't know why.
They're losing money too.
They're losing 20% of it. We're losing about 80% approximately. I think it's 82 and 18% is the difference.
One of the things that we have to be careful of is we don't want to raise taxes on people that are paying their taxes.
Right.
No.
Because people aren't paying their taxes.
We've been able to go down.
Yeah, so we were able, last year, I'm very proud that we were able to lower taxes. I think this year, I would like to make a commitment that we won't raise taxes if we can keep from it, if we start collecting at a higher rate.
Well, this is our responsibility to collect them some way.
Yeah.
We hire attorneys, we do whatever we have to collect them.
Yeah.
And I don't know why the city wouldn't jointly work with us,
We'll reach out to them.
because they're losing money too.
Yeah, it's not just us, it's them.
Right.
And they've been really good to work with. They've been very good partners with us.
I would make a comment too, is we are spending, we got tight purse strings.
Yes, we do.
This one is just about as bad as Burr's.
I will attest to that.
We've had 3 in a row that are really good with.
We really, our expenses aren't the issue. Revenue's our issue. We are, I don't mean Ms. Webb talk about this today, me and Joe talk about it 24 hours a day. We text each other all hours of the night. We are really about, as far as expenses and staffing and stuff like, we're about as low as we get.
Tell them about SEEK.
Yes, SEEK, and that's something Ms. Ward was able to give to me. Last year alone, our attendance dropped from 94.5% to 92%. Ms. Austin, I'm going to throw some numbers out at you that you've got some work to do. The high school attendance last year was 91%. We went from 300, and we get paid on this, but it's not that, it's the educational opportunities that we're losing. These kids, if they're not in class, they're not getting educated. So we lost, we had one class, I think the junior class last year was 89%. So these kids, in order to get the quality education that you're talking about, they've got to be in class. They've got to be in class. That seat time cannot be replaced. And that's the most important thing that we can stress. Be in school so you can get that education that Paintsville's so proud of. Okay? So that's something that we have to address. And I have to commend Miss Austin and Miss Webb. They put a committee together. They've met. They've worked on attendance even before Miss Ward was hired. So they're taking the steps that they want to. I'm real pleased with the new site base at the high school. Sent you a whole bunch of ideas before they took office or started July 1 that address all of this stuff. They had some really good ideas about attendance. So they're trying. Another thing that we're implementing next year, and we don't have the kinks worked out of this is a combination between Mr. Schmidt and Ms. Ward. We're going to a digital sign-in and sign-out, where if a person comes in, they go straight to a scanner, they sign in. We hope to have ID badges for all students. That's a safety issue. That also, I believe, does it not also address we'll be the only school, we'll be the first school in the state of Kentucky to use this program. It works specifically with the Infinite Campus. But doesn't it do the sex offender list as well?
It currently does in Georgia.
We're
And
trying.
when it gets Kentucky, they'll notify us and we're gonna add it as soon as it's available. It's not available for Kentucky
Okay,
yet.
but, you know-
But it's a work in
And
progress.
it's not just for students.
It's for
Anybody that's visiting the
visitors,
school
anybody coming in.
gets a printed badge too.
You can never be too safe. You can never be safe enough. And with the new laws that have been passed by the statute, and you guys have seen the new policies, one of the reasons KSBA has been behind is because the new statutes that have been passed on safety is, they're crazy. I mean, there's so many of them, and we have to get in compliance with them. So we've got a good plan, good team. Both site bases are working diligently to address some of these issues, so we're excited about that stuff.
4%, 91 to 95, what's the difference in the income there, Joe? Approximately.
So I'm not a quick.
It's about 135, well, you can do it 4,200 times.
Going to your.
Time to calculate. That'll be about, what? Well, we just say 30 students.
Yeah.
Because one of the issues we lost this year is we were down 30 kids at our Job Corps, which we get 100%.
That's about $120,000.
Yeah, so 42.
So we collect taxes and get to go to school.
Yeah.
We don't have any revenue problem. And you collect that franchise
And
tax.
we're frugal with our expenses,
Yeah.
you know.
Now, what might help us, we talked about this earlier, is if we get more, we were talking about the job.
You know, one of the things the Job Corps is they're closing down the ag side of the Job Corps, so Menifee County, Frenchburg and Metcalfe County are run by the U.S. Department of Agriculture. Our Job Corps is run by the U.S. Labor Department. They're closing those down, and we think we're going to get some transfers from Frenchburg up to our center. We're already seeing a little bit of growth in those numbers. Here's the thing. One of the things I'm most proud of is we've been able to go one-to-one since I've been here. That was a big investment by every kid, and we're reinvesting in that again this year. We're bringing new opportunities for our kids. We're trying to redirect money from this office out to the kids. I think we've done a good job, but we still got to keep an eye on the ball and watch that revenue side of it. The revenue's where we really got to focus right now.
Because that's really hard when you start doing a budget.
Because we really don't have a whole lot of control over that.
Right.
We can control the expenses, but the revenue side's something.
I do believe that franchise tax has come in August before.
I think I saw the deposit, yeah, late.
Yeah.
And they had accounts receivable back to that as of June 30th.
Right. put it
Joe,
back.
thank you. Is that different?
The only thing
Oh, wait a minute.
I'll use my comments to welcome our new DPP, Miss Jamie Ward. She's got her work cut out for us, but I think she's the right person for the job. The other thing I'd like to do is congratulate our AP students. I'm not sure on Miss Baldwin's class, but I do know Mr. Shortridge had like a 50% pass rate, so 50% of his kids passed. So we're excited about that. I think Miss Webb's daughter got a passing score on AP, so we're excited about that. Congratulations. We hope to have those kids here. They just got the scores Friday, so we hope to have them here at one of our board meetings in the future. Obviously, our FPS and CMPS teams did phenomenal. We hope to continue the growth in that program. We're excited about that. There's a lot of good things going on, a lot of work taking place over the summer. Today was a rough day. We worked hard all day from the time we walked in the door, and the new policy updates and the new statutes that have been passed are really something we have to get in and study because there's so many of them. And I know you guys have been reading them. We do our second reading tonight. I know last month Matt made the comment that after a while you just want to give up. I mean, there's so much.
Can we get a copy of this?
They will be online. You go to our website, you can get every bit of it.
Awesome.
Yeah, and that's the other thing too. When we get our SBDM policies fixed, we want to be online.
That's one of my goals is to have all the
Yeah.
site-based policies online as well.
But you've been able to access the procedures and policies ever since I've been here. That didn't happen until I got here. So you can go online and get them right now. So that's all I've got.
We got a lot of catching up to do or doing.
Yes.
Anything else? We're moving to our action items.
Personnel.
Oh, I'm sorry, personnel report.
That's retirees, Miss Leckey, Miss Spencer, Mr. Baldwin, and Miss Howard, and Miss Jim Howard. And we've already talked about the new hire.
And John Brown.
And John Brown, yeah.
Who's the new hire?
Tommy Poe.
Oh, yeah. Watch me.
Okay, our action items. First item on the agenda is approval of monthly invoices. About paying $200, what was it?
$17,600.
so 7/21.
I'll make a motion to approve that.
We have a second? Discussion, because most of it was just, we had some things that are interest and stuff like that, it's just unusual. Okay, all in favor of approving the monthly invoices, indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained. Motion to approve the 2019-2020 school start and end time.
They're the same as they have
So,
been.
there's no changes.
No.
Okay, motion,
I'll make a motion to approve the 2019-20 school start date times. Calendar year.
I'll say.
discussion. All in favor, indicate saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained. Okay. Motion to approve the second reading of the certified evaluation plan.
No change this from last year.
Last year,
Yeah.
and this is the second reading.
Yeah.
So, we have a motion.
I'll make a motion.
I'll second.
Discussion. All in favor, indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained. Motion to revise our extra service schedule. We just had an oversight, that happens on occasion, but we want to include the varsity soccer coach and assistant, and the elementary community problem-solving coach to that.
Well, they weren't on the one we approved.
Yeah, we just
They submitted.
missed it. Yeah.
That's a new team we're adding to the elementary.
Now, the CMPS is a new one, but the soccer coaches, we just,
I'll make a motion to revise the extra service schedule for the new varsity soccer coach as well as the assistant and elementary community problem solving coach.
Second. All in favor, indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion to approve our second reading of the KSBA board policy update number 42 and procedure update number 23. Just for a refresher, would you say what those are in brief?
most of it deals with safe schools. 90% of it will be with that. And you also got the new procedure for placing board members. That's a new law that took effect. And a lot of it is just language changes here and there. So the biggest bulk of what we're dealing with is the safe school stuff.
Which there is plenty of.
There's plenty, yeah.
I'll make the motion to approve the
Second reading.
second reading.
Second, over here.
I'll say.
Discussion. All in favor, say aye. Opposed? Abstained. Okay. Motion to approve the submission of our 2019-2020 federal cash request and LEA general assurance, which basically means we're going to spend the federal money the way we're supposed to.
I wish they'd give us more.
I just saw Joe Schmidt's name on there, so what are you signing for, Joe? It wasn't very explanatory.
For your CFR,
Yeah.
that's for your Title I, Title II, Title IV, and Title V.
That's all your federal money.
That you will manage, okay.
Okay, do we have a motion?
I'll make, go ahead.
I'll make one.
Second?
I'll second
Any discussion? All in favor indicate by saying aye. Abstaining? Opposed, since everybody already said aye. Motion to approve our 2019-2020 employee handbook.
I think we've had a couple of typos.
We had a couple of typos which have been addressed.
Yeah, that's just employee changes. I think we said Ms. Atkins on that.
So a couple of names we need to change.
The good thing about the employee handbook is this includes all the updates. The KSBA does this for us, so all the law changes are all in.
And the majority of this is state regs, right?
Yeah.
You
Yeah, we talked about this.
Top one down, put them in there.
Yeah,
Okay.
Do we,
need a motion.
okay. Our substitute teachers fall under that
Yeah,
same
they
set
fall
of
under that same
guidelines.
thing. Yeah,
So
yeah.
it's being passed on.
Yeah.
Okay. Do we have a motion then to approve our 2019-2020 employee handbook as presented
I'll make a
with
motion.
revisions?
I made a motion with revisions.
I'll say.
Okay. Discussion? All in favor indicate by saying aye. Opposed? Abstaining. How we doing, Robin?
We're doing good.
A motion to approve our second reading of our drug testing policy.
The
We've had policy with,
KSBA has not got the revision to us. One of the things that they're revising is the penalty for the first failed test for extracurricular. So I think we decided it's 20%. and be able to coach and be able to practice. The one we had previously was a little harsh. So that has not been revised and sent back to us. They have to go through all their legal on this particular one, and they're just behind. We thought we was going to get it back 3 weeks ago, but I have talked to them today, and they said we should have it at the end of the week, so we will probably have to have a special call meeting at some point to address that. So I would make a
motion to table that.
table that,
Okay,
yes.
thank you. Okay, we will table H.
We need a motion and a second for that, we don't do it again.
No. Motion to approve travel expense reimbursement increase from the state, another unfunded mandate, I'm sorry. I didn't say that.
What's this
We
one?
go
What
from
is this?
40 to 42.
40 to 42.
All right, we have a motion to do that.
I'll make a motion to approve the travel expense reimbursement from the state.
I'll second.
Okay, discussion. In favor, indicate by saying aye. Opposed, and abstaining. A motion to approve increase in student lunch prices at the Paintsville Elementary School from what was it, $2.85?
$2.80.
$2.80 to
$3.
$3. Now, this isn't for students?
Yes.
Is this for students?
This is for students.
All right. Discussion.
What's the options? Make a motion.
I'll second.
We're not really making money
No.
on this deal.
That's something the state, when we put out the worksheet, took the number of paid lunches back in October, they determined that we need to raise the price from either go up, where it's gonna be $6 total, so you do 3 and 3.
Okay, do we have a motion?
Yeah,
Do we have a second? All in favor indicate by saying aye. Opposed? And abstaining. Motion to adjourn from regular session, enter into executive session under authority of KRS 61.815, KRS 61.810, to discuss acquisition or sale of property, Section 1, proposed or pending litigation, Section 2, and personnel matters, Section 3. Do we have such a motion?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
All in favor indicate by saying aye. Opposed, and abstaining. We appreciate all those that have come in and your comments. We will take as many as we can under advisement and work with them. Thank you all.